again, everybody, and this is a shading lesson that I wanted to do to you. I'm going to take a few graphite pencils and going to do some shading and teach you how to hold your pencil and tell you a little bit about the pencils that we're going to be looking at. There is not all of the pencils we have here. Like I have an H pencil here, which is actually a hard pencil. H stands for hard. I'm going to show you, how to begin doing some shading, and how to hold your pencil. If you take your pencil and you're going to kind of hold it like you're going to draw or actually write something, just take and put your fingers back about middle way on the pencil, and you can turn your finger over sideways using your index finger and actually put a little control with your index finger, and then you can actually just start shading that way. There's another way I'll show you later on how to hold your pencil, but this is one way to actually hold your pencil, and it gives you good control. And as you can see here, using the hard pencil or the H pencil, you get a little bit of light shade, but you're not going to get that dark of a shade, and then that's where I'm going to show you here how to get some darker shade. Of course, you can always add pressure to your pencil and get a little darker shade, but I'm going to show you how to naturally get darker shade using different types of graphite pencils here. So I'm writing in here, this is just basically a light shade, if you can actually read the writing here. And as you can see, the shading is just real light when you use an H pencil or a hard pencil. And there are other types of pencils here that we're going to go through and look at, and this one here is a 2H. It's not just a hard pencil, but it's a 2 hard pencil if you want to put it that way, but it's still going to be a fairly light graphite pencil, and you can always use the same method I just showed you in the first one to start shading. And as you'll see, there's not going to be a lot of difference really in the darkness or the lightness of the shading. You can't really see the big difference here on the paper, but I can put a little pressure here and make it just a little bit darker for you. But once again, this is also in the H family, which H stands for hardness. And these are going to be your lighter shaded graphite pencils. Anytime you use an H pencil, whether it's a 2H or an H or whatever, as long as it's in the H family, that's going to be your lightest shade. And you can remember that, and that'll be a good thing to remember whenever you're shading realistic portraits and things like that. So that's always a good thing to remember. Or anywhere you just really want a light shade, then grab H pencil, 2H pencil, or one of the pencils that are in the H family, and you can get the light shade that you need. We'll go over these again toward the end of the video and just show you the difference between the lightness and the darkness. And this is a HB, so H stands for hardness and B stands for the blackness, if you will. So this is a combination of the hardness and the blackness, so you're going to get a little bit of a darker texture here when you shade with the HB pencil. And it is basically you could say a mid-tone type pencil between the plain H pencil and the HB pencil here. And when you get on into the B pencils, then you're going to get darker. Like this is a 4B pencil that I have here. I want to show you a little shading illustration with it. And as you can see, it's a little bit darker shade than just the HB pencil. So it's a little bit of a softer softness to it, and then the more softness to it you have, then the darker your shade's going to be. So that's always a good thing to remember whenever you're doing any type of drawing or sketching. Always good to know what the color values are. And this is a 8B pencil here, so it's going to be fairly dark. As a matter of fact, you can go all the way up to a 9B, but I'm going to try not to get it real dark for you, but just going to put maybe a mild pressure here. You don't need a lot of pressure here for it to be able to see the difference between the other pencils and the 8B pencil. But as you can see here, it gives you a darker shade. So if you want a real dark shade, you know, just go for the B pencils. That gives you just blackness. Just remember B for blackness, and then H for hardness. H is your lighter pencils. The B's are your darker pencils. So basically, that's what I'm going to do here. Is I'm just going to write HB or 8B, 4B. Can't see a big difference between 8B and 4B. And as I'm writing these numbers and letters, I'm actually using that type of pencil. That's what I wanted to show you. You can see the difference, how the graphite is actually lightening up when I get to the HB and then to the 2H. And then when I get to the H, you can see that there's a difference in the values of the shade. And that was just another thing I wanted to write down here for you, is just show you the difference between these. If there definitely is a difference in the darkness and the lightness, H is your lightness, and I'm keeping on repeating this because I want it to drill it in your head, and so that you'll know what they stand for. And when you say, hey, I'm drawing something and I want to grab a lighter pencil, then you automatically know I want to grab an H pencil, because it's going to be lighter, and it's going to produce a lighter texture for you, or a lighter tone for you. And I'm going to go back again here with this 4B pencil, show you how to hold it. Just take and put it in your fingers, in your 4 fingers, and then grab a hold of it, and you're actually going to turn your wrist over, putting your index finger on the top of the pencil here, and then that's going to give you control to start shading. And that's one good way that you can hold your pencil that way. Is that's probably, to me, in my opinion, that's probably the best way to hold it for better control. Is actually just taking it and putting it in your hand this way, flipping your wrist over, putting your index finger on the pencil, and then that gives you better control. And right here, I'm putting down a little bit of a pressure on it to give you a little darker texture. And just to show you that with your finger there on the pencil, it does give you more pressure, and more pressure gives you a darker value. And these that I've shaded here below it is light pressure, so it's going to give you a lighter value. So that's just basically common sense. The harder you press, the darker you're going to get. The lighter you press, the lighter you're going to get. And with this H pencil here, I hold the pencil, you notice, just in the same way with my index finger on the pencil. And you see how light the shade is, and you can barely see it. It's actually lighter on the video here than what it actually is in front of me. But you can see that it is lighter. And that's the point I want to continue to stress to you and make to you, that the H pencils are definitely lighter graphite pencils, and you get a lighter shade with the H pencils. And I'm going through the same pencils that we once did just a moment ago. And H equals hardness. That way you can remember it. I know I'm telling you that a lot, but anything to help you remember it. And the B equals blackness. So just remember that. H hardness, B is blackness, and the F is for fine. So the F actually, it stands for fine where graphite pencils are concerned here. And I want to do a few more small shading patches, and I'm going to start here again with the 4B pencil. And I just want to kind of line these shades up a little bit for you. See how the dark values really shine through with the 4 black or 4B pencil. It gives you a darker value. And the H pencil here, you can really see that there is a lighter value here. And the H pencil, or the H family, is really great for shading realistic portraits if you want to get that light shade. And going back here again with the 8B pencil, which actually you can see the difference. There's not going to be a lot of difference. Depends on how much pressure you're actually going to use. But if you'll notice, there's not a huge difference, which I did shade a little lighter than I did with the 4B pencil with this 8B pencil. But you can see there's not really a big difference in the values of the darkness. But it is actually darker because the 8B is softer than the 4B. And then when you get to the 9B is actually even softer. So there's a little bit of difference you'll be able to tell between even the 8B and the 9B. The HB, this is just the HB. This is the hardness and blackness combination. And as you can see, there's a little bit more darker values that is in the HB than there are in most of the other just your regular H family. It's actually darker than just the H family because it's got the blackness combined with it, which H is hardness again and B is for blackness, and that's what you get here with the HB pencil. And then when you get in and just start shading with the H pencil, you're looking just at hardness. The top one is the hardness, the bottom is the hardness and the blackness. And the 2H pencil, I'm going to just show you a little shading with the 2H pencil here. And as you can see, it's still a light shade of graphite. But it actually has a darker value to it all in all than just the plain H pencil. But these are the H families, and that's why I'm putting the H there. These are H shades, basically. I like to call them the H families, and I call them the B families, and the HB families, because the HB, it also has the blackness to it because it is a little softer than just the H family pencils. So that's basically a good practice and a good thing to remember. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe. You can visit visionsingray.com for my website. And if you learn anything from this video, if you would, just please hit the like button. And remember what these values stand for, or these letters stand for. F is for fine, H is for hardness, and B is for blackness. And again, here's how you can hold your pencil. Put them in your four fingers, turn your wrist over, and put your index finger on the pencil, and you can start shading and have good control with it. You can actually download this video. If you have a Firefox plugin, you can download it and you can watch the video over and over again. So just remember, this is not the only way that you can actually hold your pencils the way that I hold the pencil. This is actually another way here. Instead of putting it in all four of my fingers and then just turning my wrist over, I'm just holding it between my index finger and the thumb and just turning my wrist over. You can actually shade that way, but in my opinion, now me personally, I don't get that much control with it shading that way. But whatever positions that you find that is more comfortable to you, use those positions, because there's really no right way and no wrong way to actually hold the pencil, as long as you get the proper shading that you need by not shading with just the tip of the pencil, but you want to shade with the actual blunt side of the graphite. But subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching.